Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. This is Krish. In this video, let's talk a little bit about Gulp, specifically about an issue I ran into over the weekend. We are on Gulp 3, I should say, and I just upgraded to Gulp 4. So as part of the migration, I had to make a bunch of changes. One of them that wasn't necessarily in the Gulp migration documentation per se, right? So I just want to speak about that particular issue. So essentially, one of the Gulp tasks we have, it recursively, it iterates through directories recursively, finds all the CoffeeScript files, and does some work on those files, right? So just the gist of it. So, but we want to do that on almost all the files, but a specific set of files that we want to exclude. So in Gulp 3, what we did was we had an array element to kick off this particular Gulp task. So we had three elements in that array. The first one was a not of a specific file that we wanted to exclude. The second one was a not that was a little more generic, so it's excluded files with a certain starting value, for instance, right? So it's sort of regex match. And then the third line essentially went into those directories and recursively acted upon all of the other files. So let's say the first one did a -1 file, the second line did a -5 files as an example, and then if the cumulative list of files was 30, so it's 30 minus 6 was 24 files we wanted to do whatever it is that we were doing as far as the task was concerned. What happened? It worked fine in Gulp 3. When I upgraded Gulp 4, what happened was the nots were ignored. And I was like, all else being the same, whatever we did on those 30 files, it happened repeatedly, right? And it happened on all of the files. In other words, it did not ignore those 6 files. So I was trying to figure out what could be the case. One of my first solutions, again, I didn't end up going with it, was to pipe it and do a filter to ignore those files that we wanted to be excluded from this list. But then I was just curious to see why it would have worked in Gulp 3 and not in Gulp 4, even though the order was slightly strange if you think about it. It's a not followed by another not and then the actual list of files. So I was like, okay, logically, I cannot remember why we wrote it that way. So I just swapped it just to check it out. So I said, okay, let me keep everything the same everything about the task the same. Change the line so the first element in the array was the cumulative list of files. The second line was the -1, and the third line was the -5. And it's funny, sure enough, it actually worked. So again, this is not necessarily something that's part of probably the Gulp migration documentation. So if you have these other changes that I had to make, probably talk about that in a different video. But if you had something like this, just make sure you watch out for it. Thanks. Bye-bye.